Okay, so hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are going to study about action potential today. In the last video, I have explained basics of heart physiology. So basically, we will see at what is happening at the cellular level and what changes are really happening at the cellular level in the heart that helps in contraction, heart contraction, like systole and diastole. So we will see in detail about this. So if we talk about basics, let's revise first. So we can we have already seen in the last video the heart is divided into right heart and left heart. So basically, right heart deals with pulmonary circulation and left heart deals with systemic circulation. And if we see the divisions, like our heart has two arteria and two ventricles. So if we basically see what is happening at the uh, in the heart, right atrium receives blood from deoxygenated blood from the body, and then it goes to right ventricles, and from right ventricle it will go to lungs, and then left atrium, and then left ventricle, and then systemic circulation is happening. So today's main topic is action potential, right? So we will study about action potential, and to help us understand better, I have uh, drawn a graph here, and we will see what is happening at this at the cellular level and what ions are being changed here. So if we talk about different phases of the action potential, we have divided action potential into different phases. So phase 0, or basically depolarization phase, is starting here. This is at the resting stage. This is normal stage of the cell, and the when depolarization starts, phase 0 starts, the cell go from cell membrane goes from minus 80 to 20 millivolt. So basically depolarization is happening here. And the next stage is initial repolarization, and you can see the phase 2 is plateau, and it is happening at the graph here, you can see. And then repolarization is happening at the stage 3 here, and we will see. And then phase 4 is basically we have returned to the normal. So if we talk about what is happening at the depolarization level, so at the depolarization stage, at phase 0 specifically, the cell actually, there are a lot of sodium influx inside the cell, and that will change the uh, cell membrane potential polarity actually, from minus 80 to 20. So we call it depolarization because already the heart is the cells of the heart are polarized. In the normal state, uh, we see it, the polarity is maintained, right? And the polarity is maintained due to number of reasons, right? So if we talk about what is happening at the depolarization, there are a lot of influx of sodium ions inside the cells. And so what will happen if a lot of sodium comes inside the heart? So cell actually will go from minus millivolts to plus uh, 20 millivolt. So actually the depolarization is happening. So if phase 1, we talk about phase 1, the initial repolarization is happening, and we will explain it a little bit later why repolarization is happening. So we will see that the heart is actually contracted at this stage as well. So plateau help in the prolonged contraction of the heart because heart has to squeeze the blood out of it. So it needs prolonged contraction rather than a skeletal muscle contraction, which is spontaneous and doesn't need to be contracted for the long. So if we talk about repolarization means we are returning back to the initial stage actually. So it is re means returning to the repolarized state. So phase 0 is actually relaxation of the heart. So we have seen this in a graph. So we will next talk about resting membrane potential. So we have here inside the cell we have negative potential, right, as I've highlighted here, and outside we can see I have depicted positive potential outside, right? So the polarity is maintained. So when the heart when the cells are resting, so resting membrane potential is just look like this. So uh, this is actually phase 0 or phase 4 we can call it, right? So phase 4 or phase sorry, it's phase 4, right? So phase 0 is actually, so actually the resting membrane potential is phase 0 is the cells are in the normal position. So we will see what is changing in the phase 0. So a depolarization is happening at the phase 0, and we have already seen like in the phase 0 there are a lot of fast sodium channels open up and influx of sodium ions inside the cells. So what will sodium ions, positive ion, what will do inside the cells? So it will turn the potential, the negative potential, into positive potential, right? So the polarity is disturbed actually. Okay, so disturbed state, depolarized state, is actually the stage where the contraction happens. So this is shown in the graph here. So you have to remember that the fast sodium channels are responsible for the influx of sodium inside the cells, and that is why what is the reason that depolarization is happening. So these are the fast sodium channels that helps it. So if we talk about, you can also see here a lot of sodium comes inside the cell. So if we talk about normal initial repolarization, it is not an actual repolarization, but some of the potassium ions goes outside the cell uh, through potassium channels. So this helps in phase 1. So if we talk about plateau stage, this is important in heart. We can see that a lot of calcium, this is contrary to skeletal muscles, a lot of calcium goes inside the cell, and this will help prolong the contraction. A heart is contracted for few milliseconds, so this helps calcium influx out from outside to inside the cell will help in phase 2 for prolonged contraction of the heart. So I hope you remember which ions are responsible. Calcium ions are responsible for plateau. So as we can see here, a lot of calcium are inside. The more calcium are inside the cell. So I have depicted here. So if we talk about the next stage, which is actually the repolarization state, so a lot of potassium goes outside the cell, and this will help return the cell into to back its initial polarity phase. So this is phase 3, and then we have reached to the resting membrane potential RMP. So this is about the action potential, and in we can see that resting membrane potential is actually phase 4 the where the cell is polarized. So depolarized stage is actually uh, first the cell at the resting stage is polarized, then depolarized, then repolarization stage. So these are the 3 stages, and then the cell will return to its normal polarized stage. So if we sum up this whole mechanism from the resting stage, this fast sodium channels will open and sodium will enter into the cells, and then rapid repolarization. So what is happening? Rapid depolarization is happening. So sodium enters into the cell, and then rapid depolarization is happening. So actually the cell is uh, the heart is actually contracting at the depolarization stage. So what will happen next to prolong the contraction? It is actually the calcium channels will open up, and we can see the calcium. enters into the cell. Lot of calcium influx. So the Plateau stage is achieved by influx of calcium. Lot of calcium comes into the cells. Yes, we can see that the calcium ions then calcium influx then stops, and the plateau will end, and then the potassium starts leaving rapidly, and that is repolarization stage. And then we can see the repolarization is happening, and then we can see that this completes action potential, and then the cell returns back to resting membrane potential. So this is the whole thing.